we go. Hello. Thank you for sticking around. My name is Jordan Cronk. I'm a Los Angeles Film Critics Association member. Please join me in welcoming director Mascha Schilinski.
Thank you. Hi.
Mascha, thank you for this beautiful film. I'm wondering if we could start with, I mean, you've mentioned in multiple interviews since the premiere in Cannes about how the film came about with you and your co-writer Luis going to this area of Germany and going to a house and kind of being inspired. I'm just curious if you can maybe expand on that a little bit, or I'm just curious why you went there originally, what the plan was, and then maybe just your thought process once you got there and you thought this might be a film and how you could build upon that initial idea.
Yeah. So my co-author, Peter, and we discussed for a long time various other questions, things like what's written in our bodies and what determines us long before we were even born, and we were interested in the phenomenon like transgenerational traumata, and this was where we were interested in almost invisible things and things there are no names for, and body memories, and so we discussed it all, and we were not sure if we can turn it into a film. And then COVID hit, and we escaped from the city and living on the countryside. And we found this farm, and we were at this farm. We wanted to write on our own different stories. But then we were like, okay, what is this farm? It's quite amazing because it felt like maybe we have now found a vessel for our invisible things and all these questions that we wanted to explore. And this house or this farm was empty for over 50 years, and it was so like the owner left it before. It was really, you could walk from room to room, and all the furniture were there, it was still there, and you could see where the farmer was died, because there was a little bit of blood on the ground, and so it was really like, we were, okay, what's going on here on this place? And then we found there a photograph from 3 women, 3 maids, and this was very unusual because it looks like a snapshot. It was from 1920, and these 3 maids were looking directly into the camera, and we were standing at the point where the photograph must stand before, and this gaze from this woman touched us so deeply because the farm looked at the same way at the photo was, and we were asking ourselves, what do we have in common with these women? And it reminds us that we, of course, also es hat uns mit der eigenen Melancholie über die Vergänglichkeit konfrontiert. We were confronted with our own melancholy about how things just change and disappear. And then we started to think about that this place could be the vessel, and I thought, okay, this is very interesting because an old question came into my mind, a question that I had as I was a child. Because I grew up in Berlin in an old brick, and I was playing on the old wooden every day, and there was a big scratch, something like this. And I was sitting there and thought about, okay, who was sitting here before, and is this person, what has in common with me, or yeah. So and these thoughts came back, and it was about the simultaneity of time, and I found the idea interested me that someone is standing in the room and do something profound like dialing in the mobile, and someone else has at the same spot a really existential experience, and to juxtapose this. And so we started to write at this farm. It took 3.5 years, and after a while we realized, oh, this film is about memory itself and how memory is working and how memory and imagination flow into each other. And yes, and we were thinking about that memory is unreliable, and it's not, it's very flüchtig, fleeting, and jumps from one to one, it's associative. And so so how memory is working became the structure for the screenplay.
Obviously, the film is very. The film has a very unique visual language. I'm curious how early that was implemented. Was this like something in the script that you had written, where you're going to kind of pass between these time periods very fluidly? Is this something that you worked out later when you were, I don't know if you storyboarded or maybe even later on the set? I'm just curious, like how early that happened, because it's such a fluid film, and it seems like it must have been worked out far in advance, but I'm not quite sure.
It happened during the writing process, because it was like when we tried to create a plot or create some characters, it was like the screenplay itself said, no, don't do this. It hurts, and we realized, oh, okay, when we do this, we lost all those invisible things that we wanted to explore and to show. And so wir haben einfach nur Bilder hochsteigen lassen.
We just let the images come up to us.
And then we combined them on the assoziative Weg, haben sie verbunden.
In an associative way, they combined.
Yeah. And then of course, so the hard cuts and then the soft transitions were written, as well as the sound. But of course, in the editing process, we did the whole work again, and had to find out when is so it's all about the echoes, and is one echo right after another scene, or is it half an hour later, and what is it? Was löst es aus?
And what does it cause? What does it lead to?
And the cinematographer, Fabian Gember, is your husband, from what I understand, right? Can you just talk about the working process with him, mapping these sequences, like even from the first, or not even the first sequence, but maybe the second sequence when you're going through the kitchen and it switches time periods, like just mapping these out, how preconceived these were these things you worked out maybe on the day? I'm just curious how these worked out with him.
Yeah, so the good thing is that Fabian is my partner, and when I'm coming at home after 10 hours discussing with Louise, my co-author, I could discuss the whole night with Fabian. And we were sitting in the kitchen, and we talked a lot about that we wanted to capture this feeling that you are not able anymore to reach a memory, or this vague feeling that sometimes creeps you because some images came into your mind and you're not sure, is it really a memory, or does it happen, or is it maybe I dreamed it or something like this, and how can we find a translation for it on the technical side. And so we wanted to shoot on film, but it was not possible because this is the first film out of film school, so in German called debut film. So it's like you are there are regulations for the budget. And so Fabian created this amazing look that we had at set as well, so we could, where we're shooting, the film looked exactly like now in the film. It was really, so because we were so interested in this corn and this dirtiness and the layers from memory, and yeah.
I'm wondering if there was any research into the different time periods. Obviously, the most recent, maybe not as much, but as early as the early 1900s, and then around World War II, and it jumps to the 80s. I'm just curious if during the writing process, were you guys looking into things like there is it's not spelled out, but there is like they're sterilizing the women at one point. So there are things, era-specific things. I'm curious if you were like researching and looking at while you were writing.
Yes, we did a lot of research during the writing process. So we read all books that we could find about this specific region, and we watched tons of found footage. And we're looking for all the photographs from this village, and the village itself helped us with the film a lot. So some of the people from the village were extras, some of them helped us with historical things that we could use, and we found many books written by men who were describing how to slaughter a pig or how to do the hay and things like what's going on the farm. It was very helpful for me, but we couldn't find things about Innerlichkeit,
what is inside of you.
And then we found 2 books written by women, and one of them was like a description of a idyllic childhood, like a lost childhood in a way, and it was written in a chatty tone. And in this chatty tone, where she describes, and my father filled the pipe, and mother do the laundry properly, and things like this. There were some very disturbing half sentences. For example, eine Frau muss erst noch so gemacht werden, dass sie für den Mann ungefährlich ist.
A woman first has to be prepared so that she's not a danger to a man.
Or one half sentence was that one maid said, I live for nothing. And we couldn't find out more about this specific procedure, if it's just a few times or is it regular. So, and we realized there are so many secret stories that we could feel as well when we were speaking to the people from the region and from the older people that have some memories, and we could feel there are some memories like you say, and are shut down. So they were like something came up when we confronted them with what we found, and then, because it was not our intention to do a film from a female gaze, it was coming through the research, because we found all these half sentences and we had the feeling, okay, there are so many stories that are die nur am Rande der Geschichte stattfinden.
that only take place right at the edge of the actual story.
And we wanted to put it in the center.
I'm wondering if you could talk about actually the various point of views. One of the interesting things about the film is that it switches perspectives often. Like you see point of view shots, subjective images, especially in Alma, looking through keyholes and cracks in doors. And then you also see, and then there's objective, seemingly objective point of views, and then also images where people are looking at the camera. So I'm just curious, like when and why you wanted to kind of use these different perspectives to like either break the fourth wall or put people more into the mindset of the characters, because it shifts quite often.
Yeah. So this break the fourth wall was an inspiration from the photo that we found there. So it was immediately this, oh, they are looking into it and they are breaking the fourth wall, and we wanted to use this gaze because we realized this is a film about how women were looking at over a century, and we wanted that the women were able to look back. And so the women are looking into the world, and the world is answering in a way, or the universe with a sound. And we don't know what they see. But it's, so for me it was the feeling like that I wanted to create a stream of images.
A stream.
A stream of images. Als hätten alle Ahnen, die an diesem Ort gelebt hatten, zusammen Erinnerungen.
As if all those people who had been living at that place where their memories were in one stream.
Or as they have one dream together. So, and this gaze has become such an important thing because it was something that we can do in normal life. And the film wirft einen Blick zurück, also kann einen Blick in das Vor und Zurück werfen.
And the film can take a look both at what was before as well as what comes after.
Yes, and we played with this idea that the women are connected and can look at each other and can look through time, and the feeling that they are looking from a place 3 million years later.
Right.
And you're not sure, is it the beginning or it's the end?
And you were also, from what I've read, influenced by Francesca Woodman, the photographer, who I wasn't aware of that. But when you look at her photographs, it's very clear with a lot of and she used like long exposures where you see a lot of blurry images and things like that. So I'm curious when you encountered her and when you thought this would be an interesting way to kind of evoke memory and time passing, because it's very effective.
I think I know her photos since almost 10 years or something like this, and I was in an exhibition and saw this incredible photos of her, and when we were developing the screenplay and the theme of the death, and this ghost-like behavior from Fabian's camera as well, that he's like a ghost through all the rooms and through time. We were looking at a reference or something that we couldn't find, and I was like, okay, I need some references to communicate also with the team. And then I reminded me and Francesca Woodman, and then I realized, oh, Francesca had she suicide herself, and sie hat diesen Suizid in ihren eigenen Fotos schon noch vorweggenommen.
She advanced or showed her own suicide in those photos in advance of her actual suicide.
Indirekt,
in an indirect way.
Yeah.
I think we just have a couple more minutes, but I'm wondering if you could talk about, so there's obviously many female characters in this film, but there's one semi-main character, Rainer, who's the only, I think, male to get a voiceover passage in the film. I'm just curious why you thought he should be someone who should get a semi-vocal role in the proceedings, and yeah, just his role in the film, because he's very significant, but, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's also about whose memory, also wer erinnert sich an wen,
It's also about who remembers whom.
and from what kind of perspective. So I was interested in the fact that we are prisoners in our body and that we are just able to look through our eyes, and I wanted to capture this. But at the same time, so when we are sitting right now here, and after this, maybe I can remember this evening, and when I'm remembering at this evening, suddenly I can see myself from an outer perspective. And so I have an image in my mind that actually doesn't happen. And we played with this, and I realized at one moment, oh, Angelica is a ghost, and it's Rainer that he has this feeling that we wanted to explore, that he was not sure anymore if she was existing or not.
Right.
Yeah. And so he became one character who had as well a voiceover about her.
We can maybe do like one push. Yeah, right there.
This may be a dumb question, but why did the people name their son?
Why do people name them?
Oh, yes. So this is an inspiration from my grandfather's story. So it's often happened that when Fritz, the young Fritz, sollte in den Krieg eingezogen werden.
He was supposed to be drafted.
And the mother wanted to just verhindern.
And the mother wanted to do something to avoid that.
Yeah, and that's happened very often. Yeah, and it's happened in this moment. So in Russia, for example, so many women do this right now with their sons.
Maybe one more? That's good.
Could you talk briefly of the use of sound in the film? It's really interesting. There is a lot of book noise evolving throughout the whole film. A lot of like crackles, I guess, from vinyls. Curious about it.
Question was about the sound.
Yes, the sound was so important because I had in my mind that when I was reading, I hear this sound, but I was not sure where can I get this sound, so where can I find it? And then one of our great sound artists came on board during the editing process, Billy Mind, and I discussed with her a lot, okay, how sounds a black hole, for example, or how it just sounds 1,000 meters under the sea, or the Big Bang. And then she searched for it and found interesting sounds, noises, and we used them and we created something else with other sound artists, and it was like, how could sound a universe that answering this woman, and also how could you catch this dieses Gefühl der Beunruhigung.
The feeling of not calmness, of lack of calmness.
So, yeah, and this, dieses diffuse Gefühl.
It's such a diffused feeling. It's not clear.
Yeah. And so in this scratches, it was for me, it was like when, yeah, it's also about memories, when there are coming some layers about it, and it's like swallowing up, and then I found this crackers, do you say? No, cracklers? Oh, I don't know.
Crackles.
Crackles. yes, this was it. I don't know if it was a feeling that, oh, this could fit, and this was the best for it. Yeah, it was just a feeling.
Last thing, Stranger by Anna von Haushoff, the song we hear many times throughout the film. It's an anachronistic song in the sense that it is a semi-contemporary song, and these are obviously mostly period settings. So I'm just curious, the idea to use this song and why you thought this was an interesting way to kind of, even breaking the period setting in some sense, and why you thought it would be worthwhile.
Yeah. So there was one sound I loved. It was not the Stranger from Anna von Haushoff or the other song. And it was pretty clear there's only one song in this film. And then we couldn't get this song. It was not possible to get the rights. And I was devastated. I was really, I thought, no, the whole film doesn't work anymore. What can we do? We need the song. And then Martin Horsbach, a music supervisor, came on board, and he sent me 20 songs for instead and I was, no, I don't want to listen to it. I need this one song, I don't want this. And then now it's actually my playlist. I hear it all day because there's so many great songs, and one of them was Stranger from Anna von Haushoff. And I heard the song and I was like, oh my God, I think this is a great song. And then we tried at the sound, and it was like, okay, that's even better than the song that they had before. And I love the song so much because it describes all those things that happened in the film, but on another level, not in my words. It's not one-to-one, and this is what I really like about the song.
All right, well, I think we have to wrap, but Mascha will be in the lobby if you want to say hi, but thank you, or join me in thanking Mascha.